Hello, and welcome to the Power Your Advice podcast. The Power Your Advice podcast is designed to bring financial advisors new ideas, why those ideas should be considered, and how to implement them into your business. This podcast is brought to you by Advisorpedia, the best place for advisors to grow their minds and businesses. This is your host, Doug Heikkinen. And today we welcome Bobby Hotaling, who's the owner of Hotaling Insurance Services. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you for having me.
You have a very unique business. Can you share with us the beginnings of it and maybe even start with your beginnings? I understand it's quite an interesting story.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in this business, the insurance space. I call it the risk management business more so than even insurance because we manage risk for our clients. I've been doing it for about 25 years now. Prior to that, I started out literally as a welfare kid on Long Island with no dad, growing up battling my entire life. So when I came into this insurance business, I was basically advised by multiple people not to do it because it was a very difficult business and I would have a difficult time being successful. And for that reason is why I ultimately went into the business, because someone told me I couldn't do something. We started.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So when I started in the business, I really was I started in the life insurance space. I took life insurance and I wanted to know what would make me different than the average person out there peddling life insurance. And I became a student of the game. And my mantra was always, I'm going to outwork you until I can outsmart you. And then I'm going to outwork you and outsmart you. And that's basically what I've done. I've just basically become a student of the game, and to the point where my family thinks that, this takes precedent over them, which it probably does in a lot of cases, because I literally do this business 24/7. People talk about it, but I ultimately tell you I do it because I think about it on an ongoing basis. And to me, it's not a job. I love this space.
That's really interesting. And you offer a full gamut of risk management, life, casualty, employee benefit. Why the huge umbrella and services and not just focus on a particular area?
I really go in. The reason why I did it, I started out in the life insurance space, and then I started to build out the employee benefit space. And then I started working in the PEO space, and I would dabble on the property and casualty. And then I just really saw that they really interacted with one another. So another comment that people always hear me say is I have a lot of phrases when you get to know me. I say you can't be the jack of all trades, the master of none, but you can be the king of all jacks.
Yeah.
And I spend my time collecting jacks. And when I say collecting jacks, I treat this business as like it's my family, as I stated. So I have a deep driven relationship with everybody within the company. And my goal is not where it's a profit center where I'm just looking to drain every dollar out of this business. I'm looking to make the people around me as successful as they want to be. I never say as much as I want to be because everyone has a different mentality and philosophy on what they're willing and not willing to do. People always say they want to make a lot of money, which is relevant to the individual. And then it just comes down to how much time that you really want to put into it. And what sacrifice are you willing to make? The reason I do all the different services is when I deal with high net worth individuals, their biggest asset that they have or that they collect is between their family, which is the life insurance side. And then the other side is their toys that they accumulate. So they kind of go back and forth with one another. And then the way they get to that point is through their businesses. And that's what really drives the tax side of our business. And then when I go to meet a client, a lot of times advisors are very protective of their clients. So when they're protective of their clients, I have to know what angle is the best for me to enter in. So I can come in and do someone's homes and cars, or I can do somebody's life insurance. I can do their tax work, their employee benefits. I can do their corporate insurance. So that's the reason why I really started to diversify on what we ultimately did.
Insurance can be very complicated and lots of people don't understand the ins and outs. So how important is it for individuals as well as their advisors to understand all these areas and where it's best to have coverage?
I tell people insurance is insurance until you have a claim. Because if it's just a price-driven product, we could just go online and get what we need. But when you start having assets that are worth insuring, that are worth protecting, that's when you need the experts. So my philosophy is to go after the people. So what that means is I go after the big insurance companies out there, and I get the best of the best to service the clients, and then I bring the clients in. So we literally, we have people that come out of the largest insurance companies in the world, and they run our different divisions within our company. They like it because they get to use their talents and really express them and their opinions heard. They don't have to go to a boardroom and have 20 people determining what they can and can't do and when and how to make a change. They basically want to do something. We implement it for the betterment of our clients and the process of how we handle them. So we have a wide array of different people that work within the company that are experts in their respective fields.
Your firm has several professional athletes under its umbrella. How did you get into that business, and why are their situations so unique?
That's a two-sided question and answer. So really, we have athletes that work within the company, that we hire retired players, and or guys that are in the league that we still handle. We deal with people in Hollywood, people you see on TV every day, people you watch on the court for basketball, baseball, football. Their needs are significantly different when you're dealing with them, because it's like dealing with a 60 to 65-year-old person every day, because they're literally a couple of minutes away from retiring. You know, their average career for some of these guys are, 5 years or less. So they need to be treated different. But I say that you take a non-sexy business called insurance and you make it a little bit sexy, because you get to plug in the sports and entertainment side of the business, which people love.
With a new administration in Washington, we're looking at changes in the estate and gifting areas. How are these potential changes going to affect individuals and affect your business?
The good news in our industry is every 4 to 8 years, there's always significant changes. We saw it 4 years ago drastically, and we're seeing more drastic proposed right now. And as there's change, our clients are more intrigued to understand where and how they can protect their wealth. So when you take, 15, 20, 30 years to build up your wealth, the last thing you want to do is see it to be taxed and to lose that. So everyone has the same goal, is to mitigate tax, manage tax, and save as much money as they possibly can for them and their families. It adds significant opportunity for us on multiple levels. So change is good. I always say that, your life changes, your family changes, your job changes, and if nothing else changes, if that stays steady, taxes are guaranteed to change. And we see that with every administration coming in.
You have offices in several major cities, and you're launching quite a few more this year. You came from a football background, and you said you surround yourself with athletes. Why do you find these people attractive to you and your firm as you grow?
Well, we're going into multiple locations, which if we learn nothing else through COVID, location doesn't necessarily matter as much, but yet it still does matter. People like to know that there's somebody local in their area. So with the growth of Florida and Texas growing the way it did, and the fact that we had already previously opened up offices there, we looked like we were really, really smart during the process, but we were already engaged with building out those locations, and they've done unbelievable through the pandemic. And the reason why we go after athletes a lot in the business world is because they're used to sacrifice. They're used to being miserable getting ready for the game, right? Everyone's got to sacrifice to be at the top of their game. You could be a wrestler, a lacrosse player, basketball, football. They all have the same thing. The harder you train, the better opportunity you have to win. So that's the mentality that we look to encourage and look for when we build out the company.
What do you see for the future of the insurance industry?
The future of the insurance industry is challenging. With interest rates the way they are and the pressure that's being exerted on the insurance companies to maintain their profitability on the life insurance side is a concern. You have to manage that. And that's why we're independent. We need to be able to pivot from insurance company to insurance company. We're not obligated to a carrier. We're obligated to our clients. That's why we're independent. On the P&C side, property and casualty side, you're dealing with the same exact thing. If you're dealing with the California market, you're dealing with the Florida market, and you take a look at what someone's doing just to insure their homes, it's becoming more and more and more difficult and more costly because the insurance companies are seeing such staggering claims. As we watch the news on a regular basis with all this catastrophic stuff going on, the person who's paying for all this are the insurance companies. So they're under a lot of pressure.
Bobby, we really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Hope it was helpful.
It was. You can learn more about Hotaling Insurance by visiting hotalinginsurance.com, Hotaling insurance.com. Please follow us for all the latest updates on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, all at Advisorpedia. For everyone at Advisorpedia, our producer, Jakey Beard, and the Power Your Advice podcast team, this is Doug Heikkinen.